Zebu, paixão que nos move. 87ª Expozebu, 30 de abril a 8 de maio.
Expozebu from 30th of April to May 8, supported by Banco do Brasil, Ministry of Agriculture,
Hotel Oficial, Havana Hotel.
Official Hotel, Havana, Official Beer, Itaipava, 100% malt,
ABCZ,
done by ABCZ, Total Strength in the Field. Hello, good morning, welcome to the release of a 87th edition of Expozebu, special edition news after two historical virtual meetings that demonstrated the strength of our entity and our Zebu all over the world through the lens of ABCZ lenses. And be prepared for a surprising 3-in-1 edition that's all new. Everything that's important for the Zebu. And we have here Rivaldo Porto Jr. here, the Vice President, Patrano Mendonça, and also with us the Director, Lincoln, and also Lincoln Torres, and the General Supervisor, Jairo Machado Borges Jr. Also with us at the study, the Tulo Boslo and Maria Bernardes, who is Director of Health in the Secretariat of Health. Other members of our technical and international and commercial teams are here for any doubts that they may have throughout our transmission, and we'll present all the details directly from our study. Also, we will have here with us the Mayor of Uberaba, Elisa Araújo, who is arriving in a few minutes, and will be a part here of our transmission and study. About doubts that our technics will be able to talk about, and directors, you who are listening to us, just send your question to the WhatsApp number down here at the screen, and you mention your number and the vehicle that you represent. Take note, 34 the DDD 9998825. So we also want to highlight that our transmission is following the sanitary protocols required by the health organs. Welcome to this transmission. And for the introduction of Valda, I'll let the president of ABCZ tell us, Rivaldo Machado Borges Jr. President, good morning. Good morning, Cesar. Good morning to all cattle ranchers in Brazil and the world. This transmission in YouTube, we are able to reach the whole world of the earth. Today you're here missing you a lot. Well, we will finally meet together once again at the Park Fernando Costa on Expozebu after 3 long years. The advance in immunization science will allow Expozebu 2022 mark the great events in Uberaba and retake the annual calendar of great expositions throughout the country. We at ABCZ are preparing for this moment since 2022, beginning of the year, when we had to cancel the event due to the pandemics. Our meeting now at the capital of Zebu was long awaited for, and it promises to surprise expositors, market, and of course visitors. We are made every effort to make a fair that's safe in every sense. A great scheme of security and sanitary measures was drawn with our partners, allowing us to announce today with great joy the programmation for the Expozebu 2022. We have practically all the commercial spaces sold and the animal days reserved. We have an incredible schedule of presentations bringing the public to the park, and we'll have them also coming for regional presentations and the Zebu on the fire, which a barbecue that long awaited for. The data that we have here show that we have success with the exposition and the optimistic scenario on the market. We also count with the expo show and horse show, besides the traditional meeting of the youth, ABCZ, and the show in the museum and many other. Whoever comes here will see new spaces built by the director from 2020 to 2022. And the space for the women, ABCZ, a new headquarters that was in our TV. The visitors will see how we worked hard during this time to bring this meeting, make it even more special. And with all these surprises here at the park, the virtual also, which connect us on the last 2 years, is a reality that's present and is very important. ABCZ TV promises to revolutionize as it did in 2020 and 2021. This time, the challenge with a hybrid there with 12 hours coverage daily. And we integrated in one single channel interviews, reports, roundtables, and the judgment of that we will be transmitted with a group of heavyweight group. So we'll have like a cup of the Expozebu. We are ready to surprise you and show the strength of this passion that moves the world and our passion for the Zebu. It's time to discover, find out what we prepared, follow the video, and be welcome to Expozebu 2022. ABCZ works hard with full strength to make an Expozebu 3-in-1. Here comes the 87th Expozebu. You will cheer up with all the novelties. Exposition of animals, shopping, dairy competition, and the complex of the experimental farm. A quick show on ABCZ, field days, ABCZ TV, release of ABCZ Women, International Forum, talks, debates, Museo Art and Culture, and ABCZ Kitchen, Gastronomy Fair, re-inauguration of the headquarters, landscaping, memorial of Zebu, and the big shows are back. Everything for you and your family. Come, join us, Zebu, passion that moves us. 87th Expozebu from 30th April to May 8th. That's done by ABCZ. Total strength in the field. Very good. Now it's official, and you just follow the summary of everything that we're preparing. I want to remind you, our journalists, who is whatever in the world, you can send questions about this WhatsApp number down here on the screen. Just join us. And opening this session of questions and answers, Eduardo, mention and talk to us about the first presential fair. It would be a 3-in-1. You have been talking about that. The expectation are the best possible. It will be a 3-in-1 fair. There's a strong synergy among the directors and the public offices and collaborators, and we can show Brazil and the world this exposition, which is a historical mark of Zebu. So we're extremely excited, and we're going to receive all rangers and visitors from the country, presently, in the presence and virtual. So the remote system put us together through the last 2 years, and it's going to be carried on and even more broad. It would be a special moment, so we'll be able to get this fair as normal as possible. The expectations are the best possible. Okay, President, in this question I want to give to the Mayor of Uberaba, Elisa. She's here with us on our transmission. Mayor, we know that the fair moves the city of Uberaba, and we have an expectation that it would return to its presential mode. what's the expectation of the City Hall about this? Which refers also to the financial status. Good morning to everyone. It's a great joy to be here with you and to celebrate the Expozebu present uh, after 2 years of pandemics. It's such a joy to know that we will have the public back here to the park. We have the community of Uberaba and many visitors. We're preparing the city, taking care of it with great care, with great give our visitors back to the park here. It's a We're very proud here in Uberaba to have ABCZ here with its headquarters. And we know that it's all over the world, all the federations in Brazil. It's a great joy to be here celebrating this day that we will inaugurate the Expozebu again in the present positive expectation. And we'll have our shows which the community is waiting for. Do you hear me, President? Certainly, you can count on us. Thank you, Mayor. And talking about this expectation, we have a question sent by video by Carlão from Public. Hello, ABCZ. I am Carlão from Public. I present the show Talk, Carlão, and I want to have you in ABCZ, and I have the magazine here, which states, in the crisis, ABCZ created and grew up. I want to know from Rivaldo Machado Borges, how was the experience of growing up in the crisis? And especially, I want to know from him, what's the feeling of coming back to Expozebu, a live one, after the 2 years of pandemics? A great hug and great. Good morning, my friend Carlão. We are waiting for you here with us at Expozebu. The old saying, in the crisis you create. We were caught by surprise. We had released Expozebu, and 15 days after that we had to cancel it due to the pandemic because our eyes are towards the community, and we would never be able to make an Expozebu where we would bring harm and make the pandemics even worse. So at that moment, we tried and started reinventing ourselves, and the idea of virtual, remote came up. We made the first Expo Genetics virtually, and gave us time to analyze this for the format in which would make the exposition. And we created it on the 360 degrees, which developed. And also in the morning, we had a CANAL do Boi, and we could show our journalism at that time. The result was we came to 90 countries, 1,600 cities around the world. Our visibility extrapolated everything that we expected. So we started a new phase on our work from the gates inside. And then we created ABCZ TV, which was inaugurated here with the mayor and with President Jair Bolsonaro. And from there on, we have shown our programming through ABCZ TV. It gave us another great visibility to ABCZ, and we advanced on the numbers which were spectacular. In these 2 years in which I've been president, we were able to bring into ABCZ 1,260 new members with 140 partners which have not been yet officially accepted. So we had a record in ABCZ history. We were able to increase our programs of evaluation, PMGZ, beef, and the commercial. We also added to our program almost 800 new partners on the commercial ABCZ, and the beef about 35, adding more than 130,000 females in the program. So it made us grow even more. On the first year, we surpassed our expectations with more than 76,000 registrations. It's an expert number. With that, we became stronger. We strengthened our partners from the states in the farm and also financially. And we're able to make many changes here at the park, which are going to be disclosed now at Expozebu. And we renewed our headquarters, and it's now modern, dynamic, in which people have a greater harmony. So you see these novelties here at the park, and we have a very positive expectation. And all of this happened due to our work, hard work with our collaborators, partners, and directors, and the public, which gave us support all the time. So we expect Echo will be at 3-in-1. Why? Because there are 3 years in the expectation of a presidential one. So we have this opportunity, and I'm sure that the public coming here, national and international, will see a new ABCZ. President, questions are arriving here from our journalists, partners here. Itamar Dias from Rádio Zebu FM, here from Uberaba. And I'll split this question in three for our President Jairo. With so many novelties added to the Expozebu after such a long time without a presidential one, what's the greatest expectation of the organization? Would it be restarting or the public or the presentation of the novelties developed through the last 2 years in which we did not have a presidential one? And one more. When was this exposition decided by the organization? Fabiano, I want to start with you. There are many questions here, so if you need, I can ask them again. What's the great expectation? Public back or the presentation of the developments done by the technical corp of ABCZ or the realization? Good morning to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here today at this historical moment, the return to Expozebu Presidential. I want to thank the mayor, the support that she has given ABCZ, and it was chosen she was chosen to be honored as a political merit by the director of ABC. Congratulations, Mayor. ABCZ is an entity that has great connections with Uberaba. So we always fought all here on the directing board. We always worked hard to have the public of Uberaba to be present here at the park. We brought the shows throughout these years to really bring so Uberaba could embrace this entity that to have its headquarters in Uberaba. So this work of bringing public the excitement that our associates have with their animals is already applied here. We have a waiting list within the park for a space to bring more animals. So it shows that it will be a very successful exposition. Thank you, Fabiano, our Vice President. I want to have our President to talk. We know that the fair starts much earlier than the announced day, at least 1 year before the exposition. We think about the next one, and you're coordinating weekly work by the team. It's a very detailed work in which we see the reality of the city. Good morning to all. It's very simple. Most of the answers with this calendar of these questions that you mentioned were answered by Fabiano, our president, when he opened this interview. So I have to start a program at ABCZ that's called Global Management of Projects. Everything that we do here at ABCZ that is relevant, demanding time and development of teams, several teams, this work is individually inserted in the global management of projects, which allows that all of you. It started 1 week after Expozebu last year, which was remote. But we started working on designing of the Expozebu 2022 with several expectations, and the work throughout this time led us to what we have done until now, preparing Expozebu 22 with all the care. Especially, I would like to mention that obeying completely with all the rigor the instructions and orientations received by the City Hall on the Secretariat of Health, in which we would be able to bring the public into the exposition and at the same time with all the safety, biosanitary safety that we can. Well, I want to get this about the protocols, sanitary protocols during the presidential fair. Now I have a participation from Joana Prada. Hello, I'm Joana Prada. I'm a journalist of Jornal da Manhã. I have a daily column in the morning, and I would like to know what's the sanitary protocol for the visits in the park, and also about the international visitors. So you have the question from Gabriela Prata from JM about the protocols that will be followed by the entity during this event, since we were receiving the public here, the technical cattle raisers and population in general. I have Gabriela here to give us all this information. Gabriela, bom dia for being here with us. What can we tell the journalists who are watching us here in the population about these protocols that will be rigorous here in the park? Welcome. Good morning to everyone. Here. We had a very close relationship with the mayor, City Hall in Uberaba, and Health Secretary, Dr. Zebu. We did follow the directives in some of the scenarios in which will be inserted during the Exposition 2022. These protocols will be different for national and public. For the national public, the requirements will be the immunization card and make a test in our lab, which convenient with ABCZ, or card that has 90 days in which you have not tested positive, a negative test. For the international, we'll require to have the exam done in our laboratory at the gates of the park. Gabriela is part of this park to face the pandemic, so more than 2 year work, and it has been done, and you could follow here at ABCZ. So in this edition, it's not going to be different. We'll have these protocols, as Gabriela has shown us. So the city will see all this and coming to the ABCZ. I would also like to talk to Sétimo Bosco, Secretary. The city of Uberaba now follows the protocol of the state of Minas Gerais, and we're in a phase which is more calm of the pandemic. So I want you to bring to our colleagues who are watching us, which is the situation here of COVID in Uberaba. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all at the table. Good morning to everyone who's watching us. In fact, we are on the green stage, which is control. All the indexes that we are monitoring, pandemics under control. We are living the best stage of pandemics until now. It was easy to create a sanitary protocol with the team of ABCZ, which is such an organized team, and we did it without the care, so the public will be able to enjoy this event now on the 80th, 7th May. We have total control. We do not have space for this potential. We have studies and indicators that show that pandemics stable stage. We also have here Ana Maria de Oliveira, it's Director of Health Monitoring, and she is monitoring the statistics of the evolution of the disease. And also, all the protocols in the city. What can you tell us about these statistics? So the population will be tranquil and assured about the safety to be here. Good morning to the public that's watching us. Good morning, table. We would like to mention that the commission that's responsible, the team responsible for the fair, the Expozebu, is very responsible. And they came to us to design analysis of the viability of having the presidential fair or not. So as Dr. Setimo mentioned, we're on a stage of stability, 2 weeks with index of transmission of less than 1. So it indicates that a pandemic started on a stage of control, and we expect for it to remain as that. We will have to count that wants to be here to help us on that. And I know that Uberaba's population is looking for that. So about the protocol, we analyzed 3 scenarios. And the one that we are in now, it's total viability for the fair and the protocol of access of the public. This is what we have established for Minas Consciente, which just closed last week. We maintain this control of the tempo of safe access. So you have to present your immunization card or doctor statement mentioning the negativity of 15 to 90 days, or you can make the test here on the space of the fair. So it's a safe moment for us to have this fair. A second moment we will analyze the stability, maintenance of the stability of the conditions. So if there any increase in the number of cases, we would have to close the gates. Well, we would have to cancel the shows and maintain the exams at the gates. And the third scenario, in which we would have to close the gates and have just a remote presentation of the fair. So we are analyzing all from the best scenario to the worst one, analyze the protocols possible, and we're looking at City Hall. And now, with the concern of Expozebu to have a completely safe event. We have a question from Juliana Leal from Rede Paranaíba. So this question will be for our director. How is the return of presential? With this return of exposition, how is the directive board will have on the reception of by the public here? Well, this certainly will be a different fair. I am more than sure that the number of the animals that have been accepted, we don't have space for any other animals. We are waiting a waiting list for that. We're planning how to receive more. And there are a few more things that we have novelties because of it. After these 2 years, IT team worked really and will come with a lot more technical, logical, and we cannot forget to give thanks for the President Rivaldo for his exceptional work for the IT area here, ABCZ, with all the changes of equipment, updating, so you can be sure that this fair is going to be a historical one, and we're extremely happy to have it. Thank you, Torres. Perfect. Mayor Elise. So Beraba is ready to receive a fair the size of Expozebu. That's a sure thing. Uberaba is ready. And we have to mention here that the Technical and Scientific Committee of the City Hall, through the Secretariat of Health, is monitoring daily the data of COVID-19. It's not because you're in a stable period that you're going to rest, and we're really aware, and we have regular meetings, not analyzing the data from Uberaba, but from uh, the state of Minas Gerais, Brazil, and around the world. We need to be aware of those numbers so we can be ready beforehand. As we have seen on the behavior of the pandemics, and these waves reached Brazil later on than the other countries. So we have to be monitoring these numbers of pandemics around the world. So this is the commitment that we have, and it shows the importance of COVID directives that we have, so we can take proper measures and bring in a better control and the comfort to our visitors. We are ready to receive our guests, and the international ones also, and the Brazilian ones, besides our local community here in the park. Thank you, Mayor. I have one more question related to pandemics. Hello, I'm Marcos Oliveira. I am the front program Brasil Agro, TV Paranaíba, Record Uberlândia. I would like to uh, talk about the outcomes of the Brazilian and world and American situation, which is very distinct from other ones. 2 very hard years in which it was very difficult, uh, and we learned a lot of it. So I want to know the outcomes from this situation. A third, um, after the first one, it was really difficult. So, what are you uh, bringing from learn on these 2 years that we did not have the Expozebu? And I also want to know what Expozebu really learned the last 2 years and will be applied on this new exposition. Thank you very much. President Rivaldo, maybe what we have heard you oftentimes here, in which in our magazine, we created in this crisis, right? Yes, during 2 years, the outcomes were exceptional, fantastic. Even with all the obstacles that we faced, we were able to overcome them. The virtual remote was a clear example of that. We brought Expozebu ABCZ to a new level with this new work mode. So it made us better. And here we are today within the studio of ABCZ TV. Who would imagine that we'll have this study here? So there are obstacles that come into our lives, so we can overcome them and become better and stronger. And we mastered it. We developed a project of work that was very competent with our collaborators and directors, the public also. I want to here at this moment to thank our mayor, Lisa, for the support that she has given these consumers. Without that support, we would not be able to be where we are. The City Hall was a great partner during all this year. So we're also partners with the City Hall, making space here at the beginning of the pandemic, or places for immunization, the space. We had a great public coming for the shots, and we're really glad to be able to do that. So together we're stronger. Single swallow does not make a summer. So we worked as a team, and things happened, and they happened in a greater way than we expected, and the results are here. 2 years of fight, hard work, and the outcome that was that we got numbers that we could never dreamed about. So we learned a lot on these last 2 years of pandemics. We learned that we could not just cross our arms and wait for it, because agro did not stop. And I consider agro the base, the foundation of the country. And ABCZ is responsible for 90% of the 200 million animals that we have. We could never stop. On the contrary, we had to unfold and increase and create ways, and we got where we got. Thank you, President. I was thank Gabriela for the information about the protocols, sanitary that protocols that we adopted for this fair year. Thank you very much, Gabriela. Congratulations for the work of the committee. Thank you very much. And now we have the presence of Gabriel Bonfim, report of Integração from TV Globo, which were the losses, technical and financial, for ABCZ due to not having the event on the presential mode on the last 2 years. President Rivaldo. I'll tell you a surprise, as I mentioned. We overcame it. On the contrary, we had a profit for the work that we developed. We beyond the borders, the frontiers. We went beyond our expectations. So we brought more and strengthened our entity. We had no losses. On the contrary, the numbers are historical in all senses here in ABCZ. Numbers of adoptions by the associate involvement operators, both at the headquarters and at the offices, as we mentioned, inside the gates of the farm. So it was fantastic. So we are showcasing now in Expozebu the work that we've done. So we overcame our more than we expected. So we created and we won. Thanks to the teamwork that we had during these 2 years of pandemics. Okay, thank you. Now we're opening space for other topics on our transmission. Expozebu's programming is extensive, so we were anxious for new details. So the participation of CANAL Terra Viva, we will have that the most innovative on this year and the expected public. So what we have as innovative for this year? One innovation that we'll have will be on the judging field. We'll have the reporters. That's new, an innovation which we're creating. So the public, which is watching us through ABCZ TV, at every moment will have comments about that breed and what's being judged. So it's not as monotonous in which you have the animal and the technician looking at that animal, examining to evaluate. Not the technician, but the technicians. We're bringing 3 evaluators for each evaluation of the breed. So that's something new that is coming back. And the other notice, it's the kitchen of the. So we'll have the beef and milk of Zebu. So I want to thank our Vice President, Fabiano, which brought this idea to the director board and it approved. So it's another study besides this one. We have this one in which people will present its brand, its meat, their meat, and they work with milk. Milk and derivatives, dairy products. So it's a very special moment. And another one, there are so many. It's the ABCZ Women. We built a building besides the where we will receive the women, which are cattle raisers, to have a space that's dedicated to them. And the name of this space will, the name I think best due to dynamic work that this person did on this last 2 years here of Bolsonaro, and the building is going to call Minister Teresa Cristina. It's a little great woman. And we created this space because here at the BCZ, 50% of our collaborators are women, and a good part of our staff here, leaders, are women. So it's a pleasure to receive them, welcome them in this manner. We have the renovation of the headquarters, which was over. Just brought the first floor down to ground. So we had just beams and we transformed it. I get excited every time I came here and see that wonderful headquarters. So also gardening, the landscaping, everything now is irrigated automatically, and everyone will be able to see that. And partnership that we had with City Hall, the roundabout in front of the park, I really want to thank the mayor for the strong partnership in which you're building and you're finishing up the monument for the Zebu. Something historical that will be forever in the minds not only of Brazilians but the international ones too. It was done with great care, with great love, together with the City Hall. That's a not also. And we'll also be showcasing the Museum of Zebu, modern architecture, dynamic. So there are many things. That's why I say these 2 years we built with our team many things in which the public has not seen. Will be coming and see firsthand during Expozebu. And also on the experimental farm, we will release their novelties. We built corral for confinement, finishing more parking space for more than 140 cars, lighting up the official horse trail there. We can make quarantine now for the animals throughout the year. So we have XO, which really get mean strong to get these public for those who love the horses, and it's very important in Brazil and around the world. So these are markets and knowledge that will fill in all the spaces. People will have to come to Uberaba and plan to stay more because Uberaba is receiving everyone with open arms. The best of all is our teamwork here with the City Hall. I mention it all the time. That's why our mayor was chosen by the director board to be honored here with the merit of ABCZ as the person of the year. So we know how difficult it was for her in 2 years, and as we had a hard time, and she overcame it too. So we will be honoring her, and we're very excited about all of this. President, you started mentioning about the transmission evaluations of the breeds. That's something that's expected by the breeders. And around us, we have the state farms, which are the as the soccer state, and we have now the World Cup here. So this technical live transmission with the participation, we will have a special name given to it for our transmission, and everything was well thought of. So it will please the breeders. It's the cup, the Zebu Cup, one of the novelties here at the park. This year, we'll have here all the technicians of Brazil to receive our associates. They're not coming here to have a meeting with us, to recite or anything. They're coming here to receive our associates, to greet them. They're all excited. They will be here at the one day before. They'll be around here to help every cattle raiser, breeder who's here with technical information. So that's one more novelty. So make our work better, especially our great basis and foundation. Our associates, our vision is focused on this sense for the associates. Besides the comments, we will have about 100 technicians to receive our guests really well for all those who come. And this transmission is the camarote of the cup cabin, and ABCZ news on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, on our technical part program, I want to invite our technical superintendent, Jose Zekian, who's connected with us. Zekian, good evening. I want to have you here with us the novelties from especially on what refers to the judgment, the technical team
Bom dia,
evaluators.
César. Bom dia a todos.
Good morning to everyone.
Então, como o presidente colocou, nós
As
temos
ABCZ mentioned, we have
o Zebu, né,
prepared
que 2 anos aí sem
for the
eventos,
last
praticamente sem
2
eventos no
years.
país todo, né?
We had events
Agora
around
os
the country.
expositores estão
So those who
aptos para
exposed their
participar, e
animals,
aí o
they
Expozebu.
could not expose their animals, showcase their
Esse ano
animals, so they
vamos
were anxious
adotar,
for this.
voltar ao
So we're
modelo
adapting this
antigo,
year,
tradicional
coming
de
back to the
treinamento.
old traditional of having three judges, evaluators, as the president mentioned.
Que esses
And it's
jurados
important to
são
mention that this judging board was chosen
mais indicados
among
pelos próprios
the
expositores.
most indicated by
Então,
the
recebe agora
expositors,
jurados
those who were on the competition.
qualificados, treinados,
So it's a
reconhecido pelo Ministério da
qualified
Agricultura.
team, which is
Dentre
renowned by the
esses
Ministry of Agriculture. And
árbitros,
the
os expositores
unders among them,
podem indicar
all these
as
team, the
posições
expositors
5 nomes daqueles mais
select
votados dentro da
those
raça são
name up to
votados pela
5, and
contingência
those
para a
which have the
seleção.
most
É importante
nominations
esse
will
modelo
be
porque,
selected for the
como a
evaluation.
Expozebu é
This
o
model is very
evento
important.
mais
This
importante em
Expozebu is
termos de
the
Zebu
most
no mundo,
important event
criar
of Zebu
espaço
in
para
the
que os
world
profissionais
to
possam estar
make space for
presentes e
these
mostrar seu trabalho
professionals
também é
present and
importante,
show their
também é uma
work is
missão da
also
ABCZ.
important. It's also one of the missions of ABCZ.
Como também já foi
And
falado,
as we have mentioned,
a maioria das raças já ultrapassou
most of the breeds
o número de
have
animais inscritos que nós tivemos
surpassed
em
the volume
2019,
of
no
animals that we had in
presencial,
2019,
e
which was the
possivelmente nós vamos
last
ter bom problema,
presidential
de
event.
ter que
So
criar novos espaços para
we'll
colocar
have a good problem. We'll have to create
esses
more
animais que está
room
vindo aí de todos
to
os
bring
cantos do
more
mundo.
animals that are available in
Estamos
the
esperando
people
aí
at showcase.
evento.
So we're expecting a great
Zequinha, nós
event.
temos a participação da Thaís e da
We have the
revista
participation of
AG, ela que
Thais
fala
from
direto
the
de Porto
magazine
Alegre, nos acompanha.
AG,
Muito obrigado
and
pela
she's from Porto
participação.
Alegre,
Ela que esteve
and
conosco no lançamento
she's with
de
us.
2022.
She was on the
Ela
release in
pergunta o que podemos
2022.
esperar
She's
da
asking,
programação
what
relativa
can you
ao
expect of the
PMGZ.
programming on PMGZ?
Bom dia, Thaís. Muito obrigado pela participação.
Good morning, Thais. Thank you for the
PMGZ tem
participation.
sido
Well,
também uma das
PMGZ
bandeiras
has been one of the flags of this
preocupação
management
em
team.
realmente identificar a genética
So we are concerned
superior
about
e não só
identifying
identificar, mas
better
também
genetics, not only
multiplicá-la,
identifying,
não só
but
nos rebanhos
multiply it, not
desse
only
ano,
on
mas
the
levá-la
herds,
até a base da produção através de
but
programas como o
bring it
Progenética,
to
né, que é
the
um dos
basis of
programas
production. And we have that
mundial
one of our
social que a ABCZ
programs,
tem
which
e mais
social,
reconhecido.
of ABCZ, and
Ele
it's more
obviamente vai
well
ter
known.
espaço
And
garantido
obviously, we'll have
no Zebu.
space and room for this.
Nosso corpo técnico, como o presidente
Our
mencionou, vai estar
technical
conosco,
body, as
vai
the
estar
president
presente,
mentioned, will be here with
divulgando as ações
us,
do PMGZ,
be
esclarecendo
uh,
dúvidas dos criadores,
broadcasting and making all
dúvidas de
these
vocês, da imprensa.
material. Any
Vamos
doubts
ter um
that
local
you've from the
especial aqui
press
no
may
evento,
have,
vai
we have
ser
a
mesmo
special
para
location here in
tratarmos
the event to
do uso
receive
das ferramentas
people
do
and
nosso programa de desenvolvimento.
use the tools that
E
we have
principal é que a
for
nossa
breeding.
ideia é que a
And the best of all is, or the main one is that Expozebu will,
o objetivo da Expozebu
as
converjam
main
para
goal
os mesmos objetivos
uh,
do programa de
for the
melhoramento. A
same
gente
goals
entende
of
que são
the breeding
ferramentas
programs. We
complementares
understand these are
para
tools,
uma seleção
complementary
bem-sucedida.
tools
Ele
for
vai
a
estar presente aí
well,
de uma
successful
forma,
selection.
eu diria que uma
So
forma
be present,
mais informalmente,
I'd say
levando
more
informação, tirando
informally,
dúvidas,
bringing
presente aí
information
no
to the
Parque Nacional.
public in the
Obrigado,
park.
Zequinha, que volta daqui a pouco com outras
Thank you.
questões técnicas aqui,
Back
porque agora a
soon
gente
with
abre
other technical
espaço para o
questions. And now we're making
entretenimento.
room for
Prefeito Rivaldo já
entertainment.
adiantou, prefeita Elisa também, que teremos uma
Mayor
programação
Elisa
de
has
shows.
mentioned
A gente
we'll
tem uma
have
pergunta
a
sobre esse assunto
programming
do
of
Luiz
shows. We
Henrique
have a question
Cruvinel, do
here
Grupo
from
JM
Luis
de Comunicação.
Cruvinel
Vamos
from
acompanhar.
JM Communication. Let's see it. I am Luis Henrique Cruvinel, a journalist of Jornal do Manhã. I would like to know the entertainment that we will have since it's a presential exposition.
Para nos ajudar nessa pergunta, já
To
está
help us
conosco
on this
Maíra Marim, que
question,
é a gerente de
we have
marketing da
Mayden,
ABCZ. Seja
which is the
bem-vinda.
manager of
Obrigado pela
marketing
presença,
of
Maíra.
BCZ. Welcome
Então, teremos
and
show e
for
qual será esse
presentations.
show?
We'll have shows and which?
Segredo, brincadeira.
Oh,
Nós
that's a
teremos
secret.
várias
No, I'm kidding.
atrações,
We'll have
feira
several attractions
gastronômica,
and
Zebu na
shows.
brasa,
A
diversas
gastronomic fair,
inaugurações
Zebu on the
e
stick,
surpresas ao longo dessa feira 3 em 1,
inaugurations
né, tão
and
esperada e
surprises
aguardada
of
pela
this
população de Uberaba e do
3-in-1,
mundo,
which is
né?
also
E os
expected by
shows, estamos
Uberaba population
aguardados
and around the
shows,
world.
né?
And the shows, yes, shows are
Segredo,
expected
guardado a 7 chaves, mas a
here.
gente já vai revelar
Kept
um
under
para
7 keys,
vocês,
but we'll
que
tell
é
you one,
tananana,
which is
Zé Neto e Cristiano.
Zé
Mano,
Neto
a
and
gente teve todo um
Cristiano.
cuidado, um trabalho para
We
poder
had the
escolher e
care and the
pesquisar as
work to
melhores
choose,
duplas,
research
os
the
melhores
best
shows, os melhores
couples,
cantores dentro
the
do que
best
está
shows, the
o
best
hit do
singers,
momento
with
né?
what
Para que
we
a gente
have here
pudesse
among the
trazer esse
hits,
presente para a
so we could
população de
bring this
Uberaba, de
present
toda a
for the
região e do
population to
mundo, né?
Uberaba and
A
region,
Expozebu
and
será
also the world,
transmitida
because the
mundialmente.
Expozebu will
Isso
be
mesmo, muito bem. Então,
transmitted
teremos show
live,
na
right?
Expozebu 2022.
So we have
Com
shows here at the
certeza, e fiquem de
Expozebu.
olho nas
That's
nossas redes
sure thing.
sociais para que
And keep
vocês
your eye
possam
open on our
acompanhar toda a
social
nossa
media, so we'll
programação,
be
porque a
able to
gente vai
follow the
revelando de
programming that we
pouquinho em
have.
pouquinho
We'll be
para criar todo esse
little,
suspense aí para
little by
vocês
little to
acompanharem com a
create
gente.
É verdade,
suspense
porque
and
são muitas
excitement.
as atrações, né?
That's
Além
true.
dos shows,
We
nós
have
temos
many
várias outras
attractions
coisas
for
que
the
a gente vai
shows. We
trazer nos
have
detalhes.
many
Maíla, eu tenho a
things
pergunta
in
aqui que
detail.
chegou pelo nosso
One
chat aqui do
question here
YouTube,
for you
do
also
Daniel
on the chat
Carvalho.
on YouTube.
Vai ter venda de
Daniel
ingressos para o
Carvalho
público e como vai funcionar?
will sell
São vários pontos de
tickets.
venda. No Shopping
There are
Uberaba,
several
no
points.
Ailton
Shopping
Discos,
Uberaba,
Ótica Moderna do Centro
Ayrton
e na
Discos,
Grife
Ótica
ABCZ,
Moderna Center,
nossa aqui do Parque de
Griffey,
Exposição,
ABCZ
claro,
here at the
com
park,
diferencial
of
para os
course,
associados e
with a
pequenos
difference with
colaboradores
the
da ABCZ
associates and
e
collaborators of
também
the
conseguir reduzir o
ABCZ.
cartão de crédito.
Tá fácil,
And
né? Porque
also
como é que
you
você faz?
can
Vai
divide that on
também
the
que as
credit
pessoas podem
cards.
comprar de
And
forma
also
online, porque agora o mundo
people
está
can
digital.
buy it online
Bom,
because
muitas
the world
perguntas
is
chegando aqui
digital.
com relação ao
Well,
entretenimento. A gente sabia que
more
o presidente
questions
Eduardo
coming
Cunha
about
chegasse nessa
entertainment. We
parte
knew
também.
that
O
when we
pessoal ia
get
ficar assim
to this
polvoroso,
part,
querendo saber dos
people would
detalhes.
be
É um
just
único
excited,
show, teremos mais
asking
shows,
for
como que
details.
vai ser a
We have a
divulgação
single
dessa
show, we have
grana? O que a gente
more
pode
shows
dizer para quem
are
está nos
going to
acompanhando?
be
Nós teremos
released. What
shows
can
nos
we
dias 29 e
bring now?
30 de abril
We
e
have
depois nos
shows
dias
on
6 e
29
7
and
de maio.
30 of
Então,
April
aos
and
poucos, a
6th and
gente vai
7th of
revelando
May.
essas
So
atrações nas redes sociais
we'll
da
be
ABCZ
telling
e dos
about this
nossos
on the
parceiros
social
também
media of
para
BCZ and
realização
of
dos
our
shows.
partners.
E claro,
Um,
vamos puxar a sardinha aqui para o
and of
ABCZ
course,
News. Às terças e
we have to
quintas-feiras
talk
a
about
gente vai
ABCZ
trazer
News.
também em
Tuesdays
primeira
and
mão. Já
Thursdays, we'll
ficou nosso
also be
compromisso aqui, em primeira
bringing
mão, as
firsthand
novidades.
that,
Com certeza.
A gente tem a
firsthand,
pergunta
right
do
here with
Cristiano
us.
Júnior.
A
Vai
new
ter parque de
question,
diversão?
Cristiano Jr.
Com certeza.
We'll have amusement
Diversão
park.
garantida para toda
Sure
criançada e
thing.
para toda a família, na verdade, né?
Amusement for the
É do
children
Eduardo
and the
Santos a
whole
pergunta,
family.
não do
And the
Cristiano
question
Júnior.
from Eduardo
Então teremos parque
Santos and
de
not
diversão.
Cristiano.
Teremos parte de
So we'll
diversão.
have
Com todos os
amusement park.
protocolos de
Yes,
segurança,
we
como
will.
nós dissemos
With all the
anteriormente.
safety
É
protocols, as
importante
we mentioned
ressaltar
earlier.
que a gente
Yes,
vai ter
it's
disponível
important
nas
to
nossas redes
highlight that we
sociais
will
e no
have
site
on
sempre
our
atualizados
media
protocolos sanitários, porque esse cuidado a gente precisa
the
ter
sanitary
com a
protocols. We
família
have to have
ABCZ,
that with the
associados,
family,
funcionários e
BCZ,
também com a população
associates,
nacional e
employees, and
internacional.
A
population
gente tem a pergunta do Paulo
in
Ferreira, do
general.
Bom Dia Cultura, da Rádio Cultura de
Question
Uberaba
from Paulo Ferreira,
104.9.
Rádio Cultura Uberaba.
Muita gente pergunta quais serão os shows e como será o
Many
protocolo de
people are
segurança
asking
por
what are
para eles.
the
Foi isso que você acabou
shows
de dizer.
and the
Mas
protocols for
para os
them.
shows
That's what you
nossos
just
teremos todo
mentioned
esse
here.
protocolo também
So for
diferente.
the shows, it's not going to
Estaremos
be
sempre
different. All this
respeitando
protocol,
o que
yes,
estiver
we will be
vigente
always
no momento,
respecting
conforme os
what
protocolos sanitários
will be
definidos pela prefeitura.
Tá certo. Maíla, muito obrigado pela
demanded by the
participação aqui
sanitary
hoje. Parabéns
protocols
pela
that
escolha
will
já
come from City
anunciada e
Hall.
pelas outras que virão e pelas atrações.
Congratulations for
E
this
com
choice
certeza
and for the other ones that will be
Uberaba vai ganhando
announced
corpo
soon.
e matando
And they
um
will
pouco mais
get
da
us
saudade, porque
very
nós
busy
tivemos o
here.
Natal no parque,
So
né,
we'll
no ano
really get
passado,
together. We
com
had a
parceria com a
Christmas
Prefeitura de
at the
Uberaba, e
park
agora o
last
público
year with
volta
partnership
novamente
of
para
Uberaba.
viver toda a
And now
experiência da
the public
Expozebu.
is coming back to live the experience
Agradeço.
of
Nós
Expozebu.
estamos assim
Thank you
com uma
much.
expectativa muito grande para
We are
Expozebu, porque a
expecting
população
really, we're
merece,
excited
muito
for
merece
this because
esse
the
reencontro, essa
population deserves it.
socialização.
The
Sejam
world
todos
deserves
bem-vindos na
this
Expozebu
session, this
3
meeting.
Muito
Be
obrigado, Maíla.
welcome to the
Deixa eu passar aqui
3-in-1
para o lançamento para
Expozebu.
conversar com o Fabiano, nosso vice-presidente, porque
Let
o
me talk to the
Nivaldo
vice
já
president
adiantou
now,
a cozinha estúdio que nós teremos,
President
onde nós
Nivaldo.
vamos mostrar
The
toda a
kitchen
qualidade
study
da
that we
carne de
have, in
zebu, mas
which we're
também
going to show
o
the
leite
quality
zebu, que é
of
tão
that, but
importante e está
also
presente em
the
diversas partes do
milk
mundo por
of
meio do
Zebu
queijo.
is
E a
present
gente
in
vai
several
mostrar um
parts of the
pouquinho de
world
tudo isso
through
nesse
cheese. So we're
estúdio
going to
especial
show a little bit
cozinha
of
que foi
this
montado com muito
on
carinho,
this
né?
studio kitchen, which was prepared with
deixando
great
a
care.
população
Perfect.
tranquila, quanto
Just
só
to
refrisando,
assure the
nós
population,
teremos aumento
and we want to
significativo na área de
will
show.
increase
Nós estamos
significantly
programados com 8
the
shows
protocols.
em
We
retribuição a esse
have 8
carinho que
shows
a população de
just
Uberaba tem
as
com a ABCZ.
giving back
Então nós
to
iniciamos lá
Uberaba for
atrás,
this care that Uberaba
acentuamos o
has.
processo
So we started
de trazer o
5 years ago
público
a
cada vez
process of
mais para o Parque
bringing the
Fernando
public
Costa. E
more
graças a
and
Deus,
more to the
nesses
park,
anos,
Fernando Costa.
fora o tempo
Thank God throughout these
da
years, besides right at this time of the pandemics, we are able to see the care, the love of Uberaba's population. President Valdo mentioned that we were able to bring 8 shows to Uberaba. We doubled the number of shows from last edition that we had. So it's really, that's the 3-in-1. We have to make a compensation for the 2 years that we had nothing. Yes. I'm adding here on the kitchen. That's an innovation, a study in which we demonstrate all the work of our associates, both on beef and milk and dairy products. The work of selection, the quality of the beef, which on the table of Brazil, and the meat the Brazilian, the beef the Brazilians eat. So it's a work of great dedication of our associates. And here we are with Cristiano Botelho, and he's doing a great job,
Cristiano,
a
seja
great
bem-vindo.
care
Muito
for
obrigado
us.
pela presença aqui na
Cristiano, be
nossa
welcome
coletiva de
here
lançamento oficial da Expozebu
on this
2022.
release
Então
of
temos
Expozebu
essa cozinha
2022.
especial que está
So
sendo
we have
finalizada
this
já,
special
né? E nós vamos
kitchen
lançar em
that's
breve os
been
ABCZs
finished
digitais.
up.
E
So
temos
we're
também
going
um
to
outro
bring the
evento voltado para o
detail.
entretenimento,
And we
o
have
Zebu na
another
Brasa.
event for entertainment, which is Zebu na Brasa, Zebu in the state. Good morning to everyone here, City, Mayor, Dr. Jairo, Fabiano, great partners and uh, stimulators. They viewed and stimulated us. That project came to complement the information of the housewife, which uses 80% of the meat that she buys Zebu. And oftentimes she doesn't know what is Zebu. The work done and the breeding improvement behind this food that she's buying and eating, preparing. So tell the history of beef before and after the grill. So we're talking about genetics, all the care that we have, all the program of, and make a link of that with the final quality of the beef. Also, we'll give tips, recipes, because each cut has a specific characteristic or specificity of how to cook. So with that, the housewife will be able to get uh, this cut or that cut and use the beef correctly or the meat correctly. So this studio kitchen is not just uh, it's a school kitchen. So it will demonstrate, showcase, and make release of new products to the market. You have brands of beef, of cheese, milk. You average or small farmer that make your own cheese or material. You want to showcase it. It's from Zebu. We'll have this space open for you. So it's a great innovation in the sense that we're communicating to the public all the work that's done among the links of this production chain from milk and beef. And we'll finish that with the golden key right after the analysis and judgment of the champions of the Expozebu. We'll close that with the Zebu on the stick. So 20 stations with 20 chefs specialized in beef will make different cuts, prepare different cuts with uh, side dishes and some of the novelties. Mixing these recipes with cheese, with milk produced by our dear Zebu. So the expectation of a public that's selected, consistent of cattle raisers, will be celebrating the closing of Expozebu and of our public from Uberaba. So we are fine-tuned and very sharp to bring you a different, a new experience. For sure, with the transmission and your participation here, Cristiano Botelho is our partner on promotional activities of beef here in ABCZ. Thank you for your presence here. Good
Quero
morning.
agradecer a
We thank you
participação
all.
da prefeita de Uberaba, Elisa
I want
Araújo, que
to
vai ter que nos
thank
deixar
the
por
participation
compromissos
of Elisa,
profissionais que tem agora
and
na
she has
fazenda.
to leave
Prefeita,
us
muito
now
obrigado mais uma vez pela
due to
presença e pela
other
parceria.
commitments. Thank you again for your presence and your partnership.
Grande orgulho de Uberaba ter
It's
a
a great
ABCZ
pride of
aqui
Uberaba to have
atualmente. Falar da
ABCZ
nossa cidade, é de
and
Uberaba para o
have it
mundo.
here in our
Uberaba,
cities,
que é o
from Uberaba
berço,
to the
tá,
world.
do Zebu, é o
Uberaba
berço do
is
melhoramento
the
genético. E
cradle
eu
of
tenho a honra também deste ano de
breeding,
receber o mérito
cradle of,
turística da
and
ABCZ.
I
É
am honored
uma
to
grande
receive
honra.
this honor from
Logo eu também,
ABCZ.
que sou a
It's a great
primeira
honor.
mulher a assumir a
Me, the
prefeitura de
first
Uberaba em 200 anos da
woman
nossa
to
cidade.
be a mayor
Realmente
in the
veio com
city
um
in
governo
200
disruptivo,
years
um
of the city.
governo inovador
So we have been working with an innovative management here, governance, bringing technology, innovation to our ABCZ and Expozebu. So we are anxious as a citizen of Beraba to see the Expozebu again with the gates open for the public. I'm anxious to be here in the shows and see all the events, especially this one that was mentioned, the kitchen of Zebu. I want to learn some recipes and see how good it is. It's important to have this integration with the community, with the universe of ABCZ. For us from Uberaba, it's a great pride to have you here, and I mentioned that again. So I mentioned that the city hall is open for you, so we will receive all the guests and have this join with all of you together, and we'll have our exposable again on the presential. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to have you here. It's a great synergy that we have. We advanced and are where we are now due to the dynamic work that you have been doing in your tenure here, especially in relation to health issues. And in such a difficult moment, you want and show that you are the first women mayor in 100 years. Thank you for your partnership here. So we want to thank you for the partnership. If we advanced anything, it was thanks to the connection that we have always welcome here at the park. Thank you. I also to thank the presence of the Sétimo Bosco and Ana Maria, which is Director of Health here in Uberlândia. Thank you for your presence. An event such as this is not done by one person. It's just not one partnership. There are many partnerships, several of them. And they bring now the important partnership that we have to highlight on our program, which develops not only aligning our city, they also have the public ministry. The public ministry is a partner of ABCZ on this position and recognize the social and economic of exposition, and the public ministry works on several fronts. I work on the environmental question. We have colleagues working with the consumer, those that are concerned mostly with health, and there are those concerned with childhood. But what was shown as demonstrate ABCZ has all these cares, and the plan that was prepared has safeguards for any surprise. So congratulations to the team ABCZ. We are sure that the exposition will be a great success. Besides the sanitary safety, the return of presidential Expozebu is marked by the concern that we have about safety and physical integrity of the visitor. So we have meetings on these areas on the safety, public safety in Uberaba. Hello, friends. Greetings from Republic of Panama. My question goes, that was the participation of Digital Come Again and International. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I want to call again the entities of safety, public safety were here. Expozebu is a part of the calendar, a national calendar of the federal police. It's traditional, and we have a great organ, the largest one that we have here in the Uberaba region. So, a mega operation bringing police officers from other areas working throughout the event, a few days before and a few days after that, and mostly during the event, making safety belt also on the highways and also against crime. So highways and around the city, main highways and the external, like the auctions, and we have the prevention and combat against criminality, and also highway, especially against drunk driving and other events may happen. The state police, through the battalion of police here in Uberaba, will be present once again in the event Expozebu 2022. We will give all the safety to the visitors, to those who are coming for business in the fair, farmers, raisers. So we are reassuring that we're partners because this entity represents those who generate jobs and riches for the country. The farmers are cattle raisers in ABCZ. The police will act in transit guidance on the event, on the fairs. We have several strategies that are adopted, and we have a planning now preparing for this event so the community can have all the safety possible, making sure that the state police will be here. And this year, ABCZ will promote the fair of the Zebu. And firefighters are here in partnership with ABCZ, so we'll provide the safety for the event. ABCZ has been checked and will have the supervision of the firefighters. You can come with no concerns, and thank you for your support. And God willing, it will be the best event ever. Mr. Jairo, I want to close this here, the partnerships with your presence here. Tell us about these safety organs on all the areas, bringing safety to our public, local, national, international. It's very important to have these partnerships. People sometimes are not well informed in relation to the work that these organs and federal authorities do. Their work is very important, and about safety. It's not only inside the park. We have to be concerned about around the surroundings of the park. We have to make sure that the people who decide to go to our experimental farm, which is nearby, about 6 kilometers away from here, that they must have safety at the farm when they're going to FAZU, which is the college here of agronomy and zootechnology. So that's a work done together, and the responsibility that we have with people coming to visit ABCZ, the farm, and FAZU, and they're coming to visit Uberaba. So that's a joint together partnership that we must keep, and it has been improved year after year. So I'm sure that this will be a very uneventful event in terms of safety. Thank you, Mr. Jairo.
Agora nós temos uma pergunta que chegou pelo nosso WhatsApp, o número que inclusive aparece aí na sua tela, e você pode deixar a sua participação.
So, questions about on WhatsApp. Unfortunately, this person has not identified herself or himself. Who bought the tickets for the show in 2020? Will they be valid because we're not reimbursed? For sure. So you can exchange your ticket from 2020, and you can do that on the official store and shop in Uberaba. So if you bought tickets for 2020 and when it was suspended presentially, this ticket is valid for this year, but you have to change it for the new ones on the store in the Uberaba shopping. Along the next days and weeks, we'll bring other details related to the transmission, your presence here at the park. This is the first day of release. We're bringing several information here. So throughout the weeks, we're going to detail these. Okay, talking about the international program, because from the screen of ABCZ TV, this transmission is being sent throughout the world. It's simultaneous translation to English and Spanish. So we have here the manager of international relations. Welcome here. Good morning.
Obrigado pela
How are
presença.
you, Cesar? It's a great pleasure to be with you. Good morning, Mr. President, Directors, Mr. Jairo, and good morning to our public, national and international. After all, we'll be able to receive our guests again, once again at Expozebu. So we had doubts about this without a concern about pandemics. And so we have mentioned some earlier, because of our health secretary and monitoring of sanitary vigilance. So I want you to bring more details how this participation of this international delegation will be here and the protocol for them to be here with safety in the park. So let's go. For, for you who are from another country, be welcome. Feel yourself at home here. Our gates are open for you to come to do your business. When you arrive at the park from the bus, you have a specific entrance for the international public, from the public, national and general public. On your special international one, you have to present your documents, international documents, and then do the exam, a COVID test, making sure that you are negative for the test. You have a bracelet then that will be able to be inside for 72 hours. And after that, you have to redo that test again. So we repeat it, making sure that you and all of us will be able to enjoy this event with all the safety and health. We also have the activities in the international room. It's a lounge, receiving lounge, specially designed and prepared for you to network and also to make business, which are waiting for you for 2 years here at Expozebu. We have questions now from our journalists. Fabio Romero from agriculture from the Las Americas, Colombia, which were the major institutional results and commercial that we have in 2021, and which are the target 2022, promoting capital raising. Good morning, Fabio. I thank for your participation in our release. Well, Brazilian project, even during pandemics, as our president mentioned, created and reached every corner of the world. So we have widening of our access. We had the opportunity to talk to new markets that were not worked, we have not reached. So Southeast Asia, which are very strategic for us. And now with our presential activities, especially here in Expozebu, we'll be able not only to carry on with our activities, bringing our fair throughout the world, also to do our presential activities, receiving our guests, international guests. We have a large demand, including, as I mentioned, from countries that weren't worked on, and now it's total focus, Brazilian care. We're opening markets for everything that we have on cattle raising. When we talk about the international programming, we have to talk about the conflict on Eastern Europe. And Fabio also asked about that this war there with the Russian invading Ukraine and the blockage of commercial of many countries. I ask, what are the difficulties exporting beef and other products from cattle and also agriculture? We have Russia announcing that will not import meat because of the logistic from the embargo, where we understand that there are some difficulties, the question of logistics, and which the authorities of our country are already dealing with, looking for the most effective solutions. It is a concern for us about costs of production. So our country has always been on a vanguard. It was one of the greatest exporters of beef, and we're very competitive in the international market. So it's a concern. However, you have to remember that also there's a possibility of a demand. And Brazil today is one of the few countries which has the condition to meet this demand increase in terms of volume and quality, which is very important to mention. So we expect that this moment will end soon as possible, but Brazil certainly will be able to
O Brasil
feed
exporte a
great
nossa
part of the
carne,
world.
exporte a nossa produção. A
Our
agropecuária
meat
mostrou
is
isso durante a
strong, our
pandemia.
production
E nesta
of
situação nova que se
cattle
aproxima, né,
and
no mercado
grain
global,
is
não vai
strong,
ser
and this
diferente.
new situation
Continuamos mais uma
it will not be
participação do
different.
Fábio agora
So
em
we have
corrida
one more
local.
here,
Nós vamos
and
acompanhar.
now with a video call. Good morning, Fabio Romero from Agriculture of Americas from Colombia. I hope that all are well. The question is, after all these processes of genetic improvement of ABCZ during all these years, do you consider that have reached the ideal type of animal that you desire in regards to meat production, milk, or genetics, or do you believe that there are many things still to be developed? And what are going to be done for the future and for the improvement of all these animals? Thank you very much.
Pela participação, por nos enviar as perguntas.
Thank you, Fabio, for this
Acho que
question.
nós temos que chamar o
Well,
nosso
I
craque em
think that we have to
melhoramento
call
genético para nos
our
ajudar com essa resposta, né, César?
best guy here on improvement. Let's ask for the help for our supervisor, technical supervisor, which is connected with us, who will answer for this question from Colombia.
Pois não, César. Laís,
Well,
Laís
Cesar,
responderia isso com muita competência, pela
Thais would
generosidade,
really
mas muito
answer
interessante a
that.
colocação do Fábio.
Well, very good question of Fabio.
Na verdade, o melhoramento genético
As a
ele
matter
não
of
para,
fact,
né? Ele
genetic breeding
é um
does
desafio
not
constante
end.
que consome
It's a constant
gerações
challenge
de homens e
consuming
gerações de
generations of
animais.
men and
Até
animals,
porque o cenário
even
evolui,
though,
os sistemas
especially
de
because the
produção
scenario evolves, the
mudam,
production
novas
systems
tecnologias são
change, new
incorporadas,
technologies
isso
are
requer novas
incorporated,
respostas
and that
genéticas.
demands new genetic
Então,
answers.
não temos a menor
So,
pretensão de achar que
no,
chegamos
we
ao
don't
animal ideal
intend
que vai
to believe that we
responder a
have the
todos
ideal
os
animal
desafios,
that
a
will
todos os
be
diferentes sistemas de produção. É um
different
trabalho
production
constante. A
systems.
Expozebu é um
It's a
evento que vem
constant work.
para mostrar
Expozebu is an
o
event
potencial
that
máximo
comes
de
to
cada uma das
showcase
raças, né?
the
O quanto nós
maximum
conseguimos
potential
atingir
that you may have,
oferecendo
or
as
not,
melhores condições de
but it's how
manejo, de
much we
criação
have
e de sanidade.
uh,
Mas a
reached with the best
realidade dos
sanitary and
sistemas de produção
management
às vezes são muito
uh,
diferentes ou muito
techniques.
distintas disso.
Conditions are
Então
very
nós
different
precisamos
and
estar
distinct.
atentos sempre
So we must be
programas
very attentive to these changes on the scenario.
é um constante e eu entendo
It's a
particularmente que é
constant challenge, and I
exatamente por
understand that
atividade
that's
que é apaixonante e
what makes
gera
it
compromisso
something that we fall in love with,
nações,
and that's a
os
commitment
países, as
that we
pessoas.
have with people in
José, muito
countries.
obrigado pela participação por enquanto. Continua conectado conosco. Isso, muito obrigado
Stay
pela
connected with
participação
us.
também por
Easy,
enquanto. Daqui a
thank you
pouco
for your
volta para
participation
trazer
here.
mais
You'll come back
informações aqui para
soon
nós.
with more
Agradeço, sempre à
information.
disposição, César.
Muito obrigado.
I thank you.
Bom, temos perguntas que chegam para nós.
We have questions
Juliano
here
Carlos, da
coming.
TV Band
Juliano
Triângulo.
Carlos from TV Quant
Haverá
Triangle.
leilões? Quantos animais
Will
inscritos
there
até o
be
momento?
auctions?
Qual
How
a
many
expectativa de
animals have
movimentação
been
financeira do evento entre
registered?
leilões
What
e outros?
expectation
O
for
que o
the
público pode esperar
financial movement?
dessa
What the
Expozebu
public can
3 em 1?
expect from the
Todas as
Expozebu
perguntas de
3 in
Juliano
1?
Carlos, da Band Triângulo.
Quite a few
Bom,
questions here
presidente
from
Rivaldo,
Banji
vamos
Triangle.
começar falando
President,
pelos leilões.
let's
A
start talking
expectativa,
about
como
the
é uma feira
auctions, the
presencial, também teremos
expectations.
leilões nesta edição,
This is a presidential fair. Yes, we'll have the return of the presidential auctions. We have all the days closed. We have more than 30 auctions, few days. The expectation is extremely positive, and we believe that this year we will do more than every year, especially in values per animal, because it's going to be a different moment in which the public will be watching and participating on these auctions. around the park and also in the park of
Bom,
ABCZ.
presidente, temos 41 eventos comerciais, né? E
We
muita
have
expectativa
41
de
events here,
movimentação financeira
so
também.
there's a great expectation for the money movement. Expectation is extraordinary. We believe that we'll reach 300 million reais uh, work results within Expozebu. It's really good expectation because cattle raising is on a increasing stage, and our associates and raisers will see the reflex
E a
of
gente
this
vê, né,
within
presidente, que...
Expozebu.
Desculpa, Fabiano.
And we see, I'm sorry, Fabiano, we have 100% of the commercial area sold out, so it demonstrates the strength of Expozebu. And the growth that we have increased from 2020, which was presential, to this one. On 2019, we had 36 events, and now we have 42. So we can see the confidence of the farmers on the exposition. Certainly, this work with our associate national raising is very special livestock, and the major companies and partners have realized that, and they have closed and bought the commercial areas here at a speed that was surprising. So it's really a very important moment for us. Since we're talking about movement and finances, we have the participation of Felipe, who asked us, see here now. Good morning. What are the expectations of business of Expozebu this year? And what are the highlights that you can bring us now? Helping us with this question, we have here the commercial manager of ABCZ, João Gilberto Ben. Thank you for your presence here. Good morning to all who are here with us. What can we tell Felipe Barcelos? The president talked about the expectations to really grow and increase. The sector was retained for a few years, and our commercial as mentioned, all 1% sold out. It shows that companies coming very strongly with the intention of making business. We have the auctions, we have the movement of that are far away. We have many possibilities of business. Our international department also causes and stimulates this agenda of business, and so we have the best expectations. Last presidential exposition that they had in 2019 was 200 million in business, and it's been growing up. So this year we have the presence of all the brands of cars, the utility cars. They will be here, the main brands, and they make lots of business here. Expozebu is a good place for someone who comes from Pará will buy it here and receive the car in Pará. So it's a national sale, not just local. Some of the companies, machines and equipment are coming again, and this will also, it's very positive for us. And we're talking about commercial operation. We have basically 100% sold. Well, until yesterday, I think we have available only 4. We have about 100 areas in the park. We have 4 available, and well, we have already sold 1, so there are only 3 available. So if there's any company here and is thinking about coming, you have to move fast on our commercial department because we have only 3 stands available. President about 300 million as potential movement. So this is a very significant value in this reality on the economy. So it shows livestock is very important for us. Livestock and agricultural sectors did not stop, and it could not stop. As we see what happened in Brazil and around the world, there was no lack of food of our people. The farm cattle raisers were always attentive. They could not really be bothered about the pandemics. They did their work preserving their health and dignity, but also produced. So our expectation is really good. This sector during the pandemic strengthened our economy. And Expozebu will show these results. That's why we have such a good expectation. Before I thank you, I want to remind our spectators who have few days. So all the structures being prepared for the farmers to see the realities of our sector. Well, of the food chain, the beef chain or milk chain. That's right. It's important to talk about that because we're talking about the beginning of the production, which closes up here at the within the park. So it's a contribution of genetics and a few days. We have Zebu. It's a program that we were recovering pastures on a forest, agricultural forest and cattle. And we'll showcase that. Teak is very important. We have Zebu with quality beef, and the program is really nice, a great option on the 4th and 5th of May from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. You should come to the field today. Have a good day. Now, 11:33, you are following with us the official release of Expozebu. You can send us pictures. The phone number is right here on the bottom of the screen, 34999882035. Well, now we're talking about the commissions of ABCZ and ABCZ women. I want to invite Eliana to come with us. She is responsible for all these actions and she's bringing details of this event. It's so important. Bringing the women, as President Rivaldo has mentioned, our body of collaborators, most of them are women, and also the youth, which is the future of our system. Good morning to all. It's a great pleasure, joy to be here and see that we're coming back with full strength to the presential Expozebu. So here's our invitation for 13th event on the 4th of April. We have expectation of the public, national and international. That's the first international. And we'll have great names of mentors, the Sebrae of the area of nutrition, and we'll be mentioning soon. And we had the Space Women, and Rosalia will be there for ABCZ Women. And we have mentors during all days of the fair. All the commercial areas have been sold, so we're waiting for the cattle raisers, the public of the house from Uberaba and international. So we're super excited. When you talk specifically about ABCZ ladies, we have the Space ABCZ ladies, and here from the study, we cannot see the tip of the building, can we? And with the special honor and very significant one, it's a special honor to our agricultural minister, an example of management of the Ministry Secretary of Agriculture, and she has made her friend, and all the cattle raisers are thankful for this hard work that she's been doing along these 2 years of in which President Bolsonaro is our leader. So we thought about what is the most important woman that we have in the Brazilian scenario, and we saw Minister Teresa Cristina, that little great woman doing such a great stature, and she's doing her work during this conflict within the world. So our agriculture will not stop looking for sources of fertilizers. So that building will have the name of Ministra Teresa Cristina due to her great job. It's a special moment that we have showing here on ABCZ TV. So Mariana, the two events, Youth ABCZ and ABCZ Ladies, with transmission by ABCZ TV. We will have a hybrid event. So a new challenge that we have. We had the first one was to the virtual remote fair, and now we have a presential and virtual fair. So we have the transmission of these two events. Exactly. We are expecting people from around the world to be with us. Reminding that Expo Genetics, the event ABCZ Women, the married ABCZ ladies was special. We had an extraordinary public. It was a surprise. And we have to break this record again. Yes, we have to, and we will. Thank you for being here. Good morning. And now we have our program of several other events that are for this Expozebu. We have another participation of Vinicius of CANAL do Boi. Let's see what's his question. Hey guys, I'm Vinicius. I present Good Morning CANAL do Boi. What do you have prepared for after 2-3 years of pandemics? And do we have to do space for the horses? So I was there presentially and had a space in which we're starting to work with the horses. And how's that this year? Thank you very much for your participation, Vinicius. So the first part of the question we have answered, and specifically about the horses, we'll have the edition of Equi Show or Equi Show. Patricia, please come. She's the manager of Equi Show. Good morning to all. It's a great pleasure to be here. Equi Show will be presented in our experimental farm with a space prepared with a great care and technique. Oh yes, 2 years in which we're working there to make Equi Show into practice. We had problems with pandemics, but now it comes full strength, heads on. We are all excited with completely lighted arena, the horses and other liquids will be strong there. An important information is that it's not only an entertainment, it's within the Brazilian circuit with counting for the event that's coming after this. Yes, we have official races. So we have a big queuing with 5 modes, counting points for the association. We have the Creole horse, which has the final edition here with 16 finalists that will count also. And we have the morphological exposition. We have 3 several types of competition here. Okay, lice and drums, and we have the other equators, moose and donkeys. So people are so concerned about this that we'll be having animals coming from Belém. They're arriving here. Now, look at the distance. Pará, which is completely different. That's something that's novel here. How the public will be able. Yes, we have a free entrance for and people can watch there. I want to highlight here that they show how important it is within this event, because today we have a link that's very strong with cattle, the cattle in which we have the horse for the work with the bulls or cows. And so we have a great competition with both ways going there, and it's really essential. And this involvement of, as Patricia mentioned, the horse is present within every property, so it could not be different here, right? Especially for those who are working every day. So the horses are in our daily work. I am a cattle raiser, and I may ride a horse 12 hours a day. I love to ride a horse working. So it's extremely important to have the equity show in which Patricia is doing such a great job. It's going to be a show, I'm sure of that. I'm very happy and excited about that. I think Brazil needed an event in which all the breeds would be together, and the ABCZ managed to do that. Well, I want to greet and she's here. Abi, Marco Antônio Barbosa, he was the guide, and without all his effort, things would not happen. Right now, when I mentioned to him, I said, "Oh, well, I'll do anything. So let's bring Patricia." And so we have everything working. So something new that I do not know. Congratulations for your work. And look, we have this because we have the lace single and double. And the president of ABC may come because he does that.
Patrícia, para que dia
So thank you all.
os dias de evento que nós
So the days of
ao longo da feira?
the
Bom,
equi
nós vamos ter do dia 30 ao dia
will
8,
have from
né?
30 to
Nas duas
8
pistas. Nós, lá dentro
on both
da fazenda, nós temos duas pistas. A pista de
areas. We
areia,
have two
ali
areas
onde foi
there at the
nada, são
sand
os cavalos mais de
arena,
competição,
which
cavalos
is, and that's for the competition
mais
animals.
da lida. E na pista
Those for the daily
de
work.
grama, nós vamos ter
And the
as
other one
provas,
on the
tanto da
grass
morfologia
arena, we
de
have the
como a marcha
competitions
dos
of March of
Então,
Muaris
duas pistas
and
funcionando
morphology.
simultaneamente.
So you have
Durante o dia
two
30
arenas
até o dia
working
8 de maio, nós
from the
teremos todos os
30th
cavalos
to
lá.
Para você que ficou
8th of
curioso
May.
para saber mais detalhes
For you
sobre a
who
Eco Show,
who
ontem
got
nós
curious about
recebemos
the
no
Equi
ABCZ News
Show,
uma reportagem especial
yesterday we
para
shown
todos os ouvintes. Aqui no nosso
special
canal do YouTube
report.
você consegue
So
rever essa
here on your
reportagem.
channel on
Patrícia,
YouTube,
muito
you'll be
obrigado,
able to
parabéns
see that.
pelo
Again,
desenvolvimento e organização
congratulations
da
and
Eco Show.
thank
Muito
you
obrigada
for
a todos
being here.
vocês, obrigado por vocês
Thank you.
acreditarem no meu trabalho. Estou muito feliz e tenho certeza
Thank you
que
for
esse evento vai
believing
ser
on
o primeiro de
us.
muitos.
And I'm sure that
Obrigado.
this
Obrigada.
is going to be the
Você sabe
first of
que
many
tradicionalmente
events.
dentro da
You
Expozebu,
know that
você que nos
traditionally within the
acompanha aí deve estar ouvindo
Expozebu,
barulho de
you
latinha
who are
abrindo.
here listen,
Eu não vou deixar passar
the
aqui,
noise can't
presidente.
open. Now, I have to mention, President.
Eu estou aqui falando e estou ouvindo
Oh,
latinha sendo
oh, here
aberta
in
aqui. A
front of
gente não pode perder a
here,
oportunidade. Você está acompanhando a
cans
nossa
popping up.
bancada e aqui também comigo as latinhas.
You who are watching us
Cerveja,
cans,
refrigerante, água e
beer,
energético. Os
soda, and
energéticos,
water,
né?
energetic. Oh, that's energetics. Huh? Well, Itaipava is one of our supporters. Zebu. It has a factory here in Uberaba, so we're tasting. We're not having the beer yet, but soon we will.
Bom, tradicionalmente você sabe que dentro da
Traditionally, you
programação
know
da
that
Expozebu nós
within the
temos
program of
uma programação
Expozebu, we
específica
have
do Museu do
a
Zebu
specific
com
program of
ações fantásticas que valorizam
Zebu
a
Museum,
história da nossa pecuária, a
fantastic
história da pecuária
programming,
zebuína e também busca
showcasing
valorizar
the
todo o trabalho
history and
de desbravadores
giving
lá atrás
proper
para as futuras
value
gerações. Para a
of
gente falar um pouco
people
mais
who
sobre como
has
vai ser
done
essa
hard
programação, eu
work back
convido o
there
Thiago
for future
Richimon, que é
generation.
gerente do
So I
Museu do Zebu,
invite
que já está aqui com a
Thiago,
gente. Thiago,
who's
bom
the
dia,
manager
obrigado
for
pela
the
Bom dia,
presença,
music.
César. Bom
bem-vindo.
dia a
Good
todos os
morning,
presentes da
Thiago.
mesa e ao telespectador.
Bom,
Good morning
tivemos
to all.
período de
Well,
pausa, assim
we
como todos os
had
outros
a period
eventos
of
realizados dentro da
pause
Expozebu.
for all the
E assim
events
como a
within
Patrícia disse agora
Expozebu.
que vem com força
And as
total a Eco
Patricia
Show, o
mentioned,
Museu do Zebu também com as
coming
suas
full
atividades, né?
force Museum
Isso,
of
vem mais
Zebu
para
also, right?
aparecer de frente aqui na tela.
Yeah, get closer to me so people see you. Exactly. We planned a very special activity for the return of these actions of Museu do Zebu Museum. So we are in our partnership with the City Hall looking for bringing the students of children in elementary and middle school on state and also from private schools and also university students. Traditionally, we receive these university students here. We have a specific action of presenting the work of the museum and about the breeds of Zebu, knowledge about the arena, and that's all being shown at the schools. And children will learn about the breeds and how quality of meat and difference of quality in milk, knowing where it comes from. So this legacy that we have,
Esse trabalho é articulado,
which
como
brings
você
us to
disse, com a
today.
Prefeitura Municipal, quando nós falamos das crianças.
This work done with the
E
City
os
Hall, when we're
professores
talking
que
about the
estão nos
children
assistindo e
and
que
the
tiverem
teachers
interesse
on elementary school and middle school. So if these teachers want to have their classes coming, they have to look for the Secretariat of Education of the city. Yes, this agenda is organized, of course, you have during weekdays, Monday to Friday, both morning and afternoon, and has to be scheduled. And we also, by the schools, we will have release of this group of Zebuzinho with the support of Federal University of Triângulo Mineiro. That's a first special edition, bringing the participation of Uberaba in this historical process and all the developments for the country. So this brings the value of so many other actions in which we're working together to strengthen the memory and the identity of Zebu and the project of the park here in Uberaba. Let me bring our general supervisor, Mr. Zairo, who's an enthusiast and president of the Curatorial Council of the museum. That participation is extremely important of children to all the way to the university students. Make sure that the story or history is recorded with a true knowledge of what the Zebu breeds in Brazil, right? That's amazing. That's a tradition of ABCZ. We have stimulated these promotions on the last few years. What's most important is that with this work that museum is doing together, close to these public entities, including the history of Zebu in the school curriculum, the students of on elementary level and then on middle school, and even at the university. We want to make it get to the universities. That's being done first here in Uberaba, and we have a working group for that. We have classes, training classes for the professors, and Professor Thiago, the president of the museum, is teaching them. We have taken these to Belo Horizonte State Capital and also to Brasilia, capital of Brazil, to the ministries of education. So we really want to develop this theme, and that will help bringing this knowledge to people about the cycle of Zebu in Brazil. There will be no these Brazilian areas would not have the borders as they are now if it was not for the hoof of the Zebu, because the European cattle do not walk or tread on hot soil. Second point here is that we will have a transformation, a major transformation in the years to come, and we have a project working on a project to make or build a new museum, and I think the cornerstone is going to be now on this Expozebu will have it on the ground, and we will have a major dimension on the and will become with the Geopark Uberaba on a touristic attraction of the community in this sense. Okay, thank you. Thiago, thank you for presence here with us. Other details of this program of Zebu Museum will be brought on in the coming weeks on the social media, on our site, abcz.org.br. Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you on ABCZ TV, and it's a very important space for promoting Zebu and also the Zebu Museum and its actions on educational activities. Well, you here with us can send your questions. The phone is down here on the screen, on the bottom of the screen, anywhere in Brazil or around the globe. We can bring it all, have simultaneous translation in English and Spanish. Now we have more participation, international participation. That's it. I want to invite, well, have coming to the studio here to have more information It's very extensive international. As President Nival has mentioned, it's a 3-in-1 on the international area. It's not going to be different, right, President?
Aí isso já está chegando aqui no
That's
nosso
it.
estúdio, isso, por favor. Nós
AC is
temos
coming.
isso com 23 anos de ABCZ, né?
So AC has 23 years of ABCZ. Exactly. Today, wow, great. 23 years of ABCZ. A very special day. Great to have you here. Iski has had other positions and she was honored on our last edition on Expozebu, on Expozegenética, also ABCD ladies. I was honored. That's a recognition of his works, of 23 years of work here on this entity, on such a serious and competent work. I'm honored. We have more international participations. Gonzalez on Agro TV of Panama sent us a question. Let's talk. Queridos amigos, dear friends of ABCZ, I'm Gonzalez Gano from Panama. From Agro TV, I would like to ask about this occasion. How is who breeds in Central America after the sanitary protocols that were signed on international agreement? We want wish you a beautiful day and we'll see each other in Uberaba on May. Thank you, Manolo. Certainly we will meet here on Zebu on the 3rd of April. And answering your question, it's very important to make clear that after all this work that we have almost 2 decades on opening protocols, sanitary, especially in Latin America, we obtained great advances. Today it's possible to find exemplars of breeds of Zebu with the same potential that we have here in Brazil in many countries of Latin America. That's really important and shows that Brazilian cattle breeders are helping our brother countries, and the only way that we can buy genetics, semen and embryos that will also that the product will get to your property with safety, where sanitary safety is through following up the sanitary protocols. So as we are adhering to these protocols, are making sure that you have the genetics and the sanitary safety of this material is assured to help increase the potential of cattle raising in Latin America. We have one more question in video from Bolivia. Very good morning, friends from Brazil. I am Henrique Azuategui from the magazine. I'm from Santa Cruz in Bolivia. For the last 2 years, we have suffered with COVID pandemics, and that brought us lots of problems. In spite of that, farming did not stop specifically. And Brazil is working on the genetic breeding. And now we have another scenario, the war in Ukraine, and it's more than genetic, it has an economic effect. So exportations are being reduced, and we have an uncertainty of the raw materials for the cattle raising. So these scenarios are present, and we have many other scenarios. So what's ABCZ doing to keep on promoting genetic improvements around the world? That's my question from Bolivia. Thank you for the question, Enrique. Thanks for sharing it with us. And of course, ABCZ has a commitment with Zebu, not only in Brazil, but Zebu around the world. So we're still working, even during the pandemics, we worked opening new markets so we can bring our Zebu to increase the yield of every country around the world, especially in Latin America. And today we have sanitary protocols approved with most of the countries in Latin America. But that's not all. ABCZ is making this commitment with Brazilian Zebu, and around the world, we, for the few years, have developed a work of technical support to the associations of Zebu around the world. So those associations, as you have there in Bolivia, these associations of Zebu, which have interest in receiving technical support from ABCZ, will certainly have the doors open, and we can work with them. Just reminding that's a support and the works done by the association, but we are here giving you the support and development of evaluations, genetic evaluation, which will bring important directives for the selection process of every country. That's a commitment of ABCZ supporting not only cattle, Zebu cattle in Brazil, but around the world. So now we have a question of Julio Quintera from Panama. Hello, friends of ABCZ. Salutation. Agro is more. My question is knowing about how it's being developed, the registration of animals that are born in other countries that have genetic material from Brazil. That's important to maintain a strict control of the maintenance for genetics and sanitary also.
Vamos pedir ajuda.
Vamos, né? Com
Can I
certeza.
ask for help?
Josaquian,
Certainly.
contamos com você em mais essa
Please.
pergunta.
One more question for you. Are you connected with us? Or did we have any problems there? We have a problem in the connection, so soon we will answer this question in a minute, as soon as we get. Oh, he's being connected? Can you wait? So soon. Next question while we wait for the connection. Now from Colombia, and then we get back to this question of Jordan.
Alfonso Uribe, El Mundo del Campo, Colombia.
Alfonso Uribe from El Mundo. The question is, which actions are being done by ABCZ to meet the new environmental wave that's against the cattle raising?
Olá, Alfonso. Muito bom dia.
Hello,
Saludos
Alfonso.
desde
Good
Brasil.
morning.
Bom,
Salutations from Brazil. I believe the best person to tell you everything that we're doing here in ABCZ within this area is our president, which is going to tell about one of these special projects. He has great care about his president. I think people outside want to know about Integra Zebu. Yeah, Integra Zebu is our most dear project, and that's one of the most important that we're developing now. It's a project that reached a dimension that brought many strong partners so that we make it very dynamic, not only in the state of Minas Gerais, but as we are doing now in Tocantins, Mato Grosso, and Goiás, which are great areas for cattle raising. So we're showcasing the need to introduce in their farm the integration of farming with cattle and forest. So we're making this project very dynamic, showing especially for the small farmers that they can do and obtain this product within their farms, their property. We're doing in this state, as I mentioned, with no added cost for these small farmers. So we showcase this for their neighbors within their states. So ABCZ is really concerned with preservation of the environment. So this concern we have closed last year with Ministry Teresa Cristina and Embrapa, this wonderful project, which is extended throughout the country, and the results are expressive, amazing. And ABCZ has this vocation of improving, especially with sustainability. We have to produce milk and beef with sustainability. That's our focus. We're very excited with the speed in which this project is growing. And the speed from other companies adding up and joining this project. I'm sure that we're getting to a moment in Brazilian farming which we use this technology on this work that ABCZ is doing with entities, extension agents. We have here EMATER, which is the agency of extension, which helps us a lot. And so people receive orientation from agronomists from the day that they sample the soil. They make the silo and will produce more pasture for other farmers who want to expand this throughout the country, as we have done in some others, and we have done this with our neighbors here.
Nós temos que dizer
Well, and I think that we have to also mention that this project can be expanded not only within Brazil, our departments or states here in Brazil, but it can be, it helps the production of on a sustainable way, can be applied even there. It can go to your country. ABCZ, of course, will aid on this process of sustainability of beef and milk in Brazil. This has the doors open to help on beef and milk production in your country. What is Zebu for Latin America, President? Well, we just advanced on this because of the partnerships that we had. So I have to mention our great partners in this project: Agronelli, Mosaic, Bifal, and now most recently Banco do Brasil, Brazilian Bank. They saw the viability of this program and they are here with us. That's why this year we're expanding, and we can reach more and attract more farmers and cattle raisers, so ranchers, so we'll be working sustainably. That's right, Cesar. We need to work sustainably, not only in Brazil, but also in all the countries around the world. Well, cattle raising work with sustainability, with the environment. It's not a villain, it's not against the environment. And we have talked a lot about that recently. Our technical superintendents connect with us. So, did you follow the question, our colleague Julio? Did you? So, you can give us the answer. Can you hear me now? Yes, we can. Well, before I answer that, I want to greet Easy for the 23 years. It just looks like yesterday. And you are one of the responsibles for that. Huh? I'm honored for this responsibility. So, the connection is not really good. I just can't hear him. Brazil's an international treaty, treaties of Rome in 1936, and then Brazilian government assured and signed for the sovereignty of each country, and offers genetic resources for countries that may request it. So, these programs will be conducted by the proper secretariats or organizations in the country. We had a problem here. The signal is not really coming well. Can you hear as well? No, I can't. And we can hear you too. Carry on. So, can you tell me I was mentioning about Brazil recognizing the sovereignty of the other countries.
Perfeito. Em conduzir o próprio
And
genealógico.
each country can have its registration, and that's happened in Panama. You have a special agency that keeps the records of Zebu. We have an agreement with this institution, and
Bom, infelizmente nós não estamos conseguindo ouvir. Eu quero pedir
unfortunately we
desculpas ao Júlio,
cannot
mas foi
have
possível entender um
hearing.
pouco mais ou menos, né? E se
Deixa eu tentar
I kind
auxiliar
of
um pouquinho.
understood. Let me try
Júlio,
and
é
help here.
importante que
Julio,
saibam, como o Josaquiel mencionou,
it's important for you to
existe um
know
acordo
that
entre todos os
there's a
países,
treaties
respeitando
among the countries
algumas das
respecting
atividades dos ministérios da
some of the
Agricultura.
activities
E
of the ministries
cada
of
país
agriculture. And
individualmente
each
é
country
responsável, o
individually
Ministério da
is
Agricultura
responsible,
de cada país
the
é
Ministry of
responsável pelo
Agriculture
serviço
of
de
each country is
registro
responsible
genealógico
for
do seu
the
próprio país.
genealogical registration
Então,
of
aí,
each country.
no Panamá,
So
a
in
entidade
Panama,
responsável por este
the
registro genealógico é a entidade
entity
TRICEPA,
is
que é parceira da
Tricepa,
ABCZ,
which is a
como eu
partner of the
comentei.
ABCZ,
Nós
as I mentioned,
acabamos auxiliando num
and
processo de
will
suporte técnico
help on the
no
giving
desenvolvimento
technical support
do
in the
PMGZ
development
Internacional,
of
na captação de informações
Z
e de dados
International,
para gerar
providing
processo de
information
avaliação
and
genética,
data
né?
in
Então
a
estamos
very
juntos nesse processo,
process
dessa
of
maneira, não
genetic
só
evaluation.
acontece
So
aqui
we're
no Panamá,
together.
mas com todos os
So
outros
that happens with
países,
Panama and
cada
with
um é
every
responsável
other
pelo seu próprio
country. Each
registro,
one is
porém
responsible
estamos
for the
aqui para
records.
poder
However, we're
auxiliar e
here
dar
to
suporte para essas
help you and give
associações, né,
support
para
for
que elas
these
possam
associations
desenvolver aí com
so
muito
they will be
êxito
able to
o seu
develop
trabalho de
uh,
registro
with
genealógico
success
e
their
também de melhoramento genético.
work of registration
Muito
and
bem. E muito
genetic
obrigado pela
improvement.
participação aqui
Thank
hoje.
you.
Mais uma vez,
Eu que
parabéns por esses
agradeço
20
Once
imensamente.
again,
Muito obrigada pelo carinho de
congratulations.
todos.
Muito obrigado. Até a próxima.
Thank you.
Bom, a gente segue agora já para as considerações
Well,
finais, já encerrando
I
essa
can
nossa coletiva.
can consider
Meio-dia
we're
já.
closing up
Passamos
this
do
one. Well,
meio-dia, meio-dia 7.
midday,
Bom, muitos questionamentos
12:07.
chegando pelo nosso
Many
WhatsApp, também
questions
no
coming
nosso
from
chat aqui
WhatsApp
com
and
relação
also on the
ao uso de
chat
máscara
in relation
durante
to use
a
of
feira,
masks
indo ao
during
Parque
the
Fernando Costa.
fair
Quero esclarecer para você
when you
que
come to the
a
park
ABCZ vai
for
seguir o
presents.
protocolo
ABCZ
vigente
is following the
das
protocols
entidades, das
that are
autoridades
on
municipais,
uh,
da vigilância
the
sanitária,
city.
da Secretaria Municipal
So,
de Saúde. O que estiver
Secretariat of
valendo a regra, a lei,
Health,
é o que
whatever,
vai estar valendo
if the
também
rule
para acessar o
is
Parque Fernando Costa.
on, then
Muitas pessoas
will
perguntando
be the
sobre
one
o uso de
for you
máscaras.
to
Vai
enter.
poder, não vai poder?
So
Vai
masks,
depender
can
do
we either
protocolo que
use it
estiver
or not?
valendo à
Will depend on
época.
the
Algumas
protocol
regiões do
on
estado
the
de Minas
day
Gerais já
that you
abriram o
come.
uso da
Some of
máscara.
regions
Na
of the
cidade
state
de
of Minas
Uberaba
Gerais
ainda não há essa sinalização por parte da Secretaria
declared that
Municipal de Saúde.
there's no need
Então, se
for
a
that.
feira
But
começar
here in
só hoje,
Uberaba,
acontecesse
we're
hoje,
still
para
using
você
masks. So if
circular
you're
nas áreas
starting today,
externas do
for you
Parque
to
Fernando
walk
Costa,
around
você
here in the park, you
deveria
would
usar a
have to
máscara. E é importante
wear the
esclarecer para
mask.
você que nós estamos
And
indo
it's
sem
important to make
máscara,
it
né,
clear
presidente
that
Evaldo? Porque
we are here with
todos
no
nós fomos
mask
testados,
because
estamos todos
we're all
vacinados, né,
tested,
estamos
we are
respeitando todos os
negative, and we're
protocolos
all
aqui em frente às
immunized or
câmeras. Nós
vaccinated.
estamos sem
We're
máscara,
respecting
mas a nossa
uh,
equipe toda que está
the
trabalhando
protocols.
aqui,
Our
mais de
team
15
that's behind the
pessoas
scenes,
envolvidas nessa
everyone,
transmissão,
more than
todo
15
mundo
people involved on this
com
transmission,
máscara, com álcool
everyone
gel
is
aqui da
wearing
nossa
a
mesa
mask,
também. Então estamos
alcohol
seguindo
here
todos
on the
esses
bench.
protocolos. Então,
So
mais
we
uma
are
vez,
following the
reforçando,
protocols.
tudo isso vai
Once
depender
again, just making sure
especificamente da
all
época
will
em que
depend
chegar a feira,
specifically
né, quando
of
chegarmos
the
lá
period.
em
When we come
maio,
to
para que
April
nós
30,
possamos dar essa
we'll
resposta
have
para
to
você. E
see
você vai
what
saber
is
naturalmente, você vai poder
required,
entrar ao
and
Parque
we'll
Fernando Costa
know and
usando a
we'll
máscara
come within
ou
the
não.
park,
Bom, quero reforçar para
wearing your
você
mask
que a
or with
ABCZ,
no mask.
a
I want to
ABCZ
make
TV
sure
também, é
that you
claro, está
understand
presente nessa
ABCZ
feira em
TV, of
formato
course, is
híbrido,
present
trazendo para
in the
você
fair
todas as
on a hybrid
informações. Serão
system,
mais de
and we
12
bring
horas de
all the
programação,
information,
de
more than
transmissão ao
12
vivo
hours
dos
every day of
eventos.
live
Nós teremos,
transmission,
como o presidente
our
Evaldo trouxe aqui para
evaluations,
nós, o nosso
and
camarote da
as
Copa,
we
com
have the
especialistas
cup
fazendo os comentários
booth
dos
with the
julgamentos que vão
specialists
acontecer
making
aqui na
comments of
nossa
the
pista, que é parte do
evaluations that will
noticiário
be
da
here
ABCZ
on the
TV.
arena, which is part
Cobertura
of this
especial aí,
scenario
um
of
show
ABCZ
do
TV.
ABCZ Jovem, da entrega
Over
do prédio da
ABCZ
ABCZ
show,
Fair e, claro, a
the
transmissão também
ABCZ
da abertura
ladies
oficial da nossa
building
feira.
and the
Então, tudo
transmission
isso
of the
pelas
opening of
redes
our
da ABCZ
fair.
TV. E todos os
Everything through the
detalhes
lens of
da feira que
ABCZ
nós vamos
TV.
trazendo
And
ao
all the
longo
details
das
that we
próximas
will
semanas, você
bring
também acompanha
throughout the
aqui
weeks, we will
no nosso
also
canal do
follow
YouTube,
here
no ABCZ
in our
News, às
canal on
terças e
YouTube,
quintas-feiras,
on
a partir das
ABCZ
7 da noite,
News,
horário de Brasília, claro, em nossas redes sociais, onde você vai
on
acompanhar todos os
a specific time here in Brazilian or special info here also of the shows we're going to make releases within. It shows here our Instagram, our social media, our Instagram
e lá você vai encontrar também em breve
at
toda a programação.
ABCZ PMGZ. We'll talk about the shows in order to make sure that if you bought your ticket for the 2020 fair, if you bought it then, it's valid for this year, but you have to change it from 2020 to one, and that will be done at the official store at the Uberaba Shopping Center. So we'll bring that on our social media. President Rivaldo, after 2 hours of our transmission with energetic on the table, we are bidding farewell to our journalists that are following us here, and we want to thank them all. So before you close this event, I want to thank Mr. Jairo for his presence. And would you give us a final message for the collaborators organizing this fair, for our associates and for the colleagues, reporters? Well, our war team, Ahu, that's what I say. Everyone have a good day. Thank you. Who works here at ABCZ really knows that. What does that mean? But we're keeping the secret. Is Mr. Jairo's incentive. Thank you for your presence here, Fabiano. And you're always emotional, and your emotion is showing passion for Zebu, passion for our entity, with all this work that is done with so many hands, so thinking minds, so many arms to work. I'm special, I thank our associates that this week several of them perceived that there was no more space for animals. And talking here with the president, we're not leaving anyone out. We'll find a way to bring all these animals here. The motivation that our association brings to us make us work harder. We want to have a great Expozebu. I'm sure that we'll have great success. So we count on each one of you. Thank you for Fabiana for your part here. I want to mention here the presence of our Director of Information, Nicholas Pratek, who had to leave before the end here. He was present representing the other members of our Director Board. Thank you for your participation. President Rivaldo, so we have officially released the 3-in-1 Expozebu in 2022, 30th of April, 87th presence and online hybrid mode Expozebu, bringing Zebu around the world. Well, I want to close thanking the press in all their ways, written, spoken on TV, for the questions asked for our international public. Make sure that be sure that we're working as hard as possible to receive this public coming through the gates. We're hyper excited. We have a historical 3-in-1 implementation. Everyone is working in great synergy towards farmer and the associate. We want to see this park filled up with farmers and ranchers to understand better the strength of this entity. An entity that during the pandemics had overcome the problems and increased partnerships between director and public powers, and so welcome for Expozebu. You have a party here with so many attractions that we have, so many novelties, large things that we presented today, main things. We have access to all of this. Let's become stronger together. We count on you, especially you, associate, who is our vision and our inspiration. We work for you, for your work. Gates, inside the gates, we want to show your potential to Brazil and the world. A big hug to each other. Thank you, President. We close this transmission now, thanking your participation and your anxious to see you presentially in person here at the park in Uberaba on a very special edition for Expozebu. Our program will be transmitted here on ABCZ TV, which is the official channel of Expozebu. And we have the news here at Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. We will also bring news of national cattle racing. We thank our sponsors and you, reporter from around the world, with questions.
Zebu, paixão que nos move.
87 Expozebu, Zebu, the passion. Have a good afternoon.
Zebu, paixão que nos move. 87ª Expozebu, 30 de abril a 8 de maio. Patrocínio Banco do Brasil, Ministério da Agricultura, Pecuária e Abastecimento, Clique Telecom, Premix, Hotel Oficial, Havana Hotel, Cerveja Oficial, Itaipava 100% Malte. Realização ABCZ, força total no campo.